If you are thinking about moving to Kansas City or just wanting to explore owning a home in Kansas City, there are some things that I absolutely love about living here. And then there are a few things that literally drive me crazy. And today I'm going to be talking about some of those honest reviews, some of the things that nobody will put in a relocation brochure, and hopefully give you some insight into more about our city and some of the pros and the cons of it. So the one thing that I see a lot about when people are relocating here to Kansas City is when they research Kansas City, they get two extremes. They get this extreme of where everyone says that everything is amazing. The schools are amazing. There's a great barbecue. The restaurants are awesome. There's affordable housing. The people are friendly. And of course, there's Chiefs Kingdom. We can't not say that, right? And then there's wonderful suburbs. And then all of a sudden they stumble upon one negative comment, and then it has this conversation going online, and then suddenly they think that the whole metropolitan area is full of traffic, tornadoes, and potholes. And then that one conversation is a little bit extreme. And so you get these two extremes, but the truth is somewhere right in the middle. And because I live here, I work here, I've raised my family here, we've lived both on the state lines of Kansas and Missouri. I sell homes on both sides of the state lines, and I spend a lot of time driving around and seeing various parts of the metro. And I have this YouTube channel that shows some of that. I've developed some pretty strong opinions about what it's really like to live here. So we're going to start with the good stuff. So I'm going to say this is something that I love, and then I'm going to kind of counterpart it with the part that I hate about that thing. The first thing that I love is that there are so many different lifestyles that you can come across. This is probably one of my favorite things about Kansas City. It's you don't have to just pick one lifestyle. You can live near downtown. You can live in a classic neighborhood with mature trees. You can find a new construction home. You can even live near a lake. And yes, we have 14 different lake communities here in Kansas City. You can find acreage. Even sometimes within the city or within suburbs, you can find a property that's got some acreage on it. You can live in a luxury neighborhood. You can find a cute little ranch for your kiddo that is going off to college that wants to rent with some friends. You can live on the Kansas side, you can live on the Missouri side. There's so many different lifestyles that you can be a part of in the Kansas City metropolitan area. And all these areas have almost like their unique DNA. I love that. There's also Brookside, don't let me forget that area, and Waldo, and some of those other kind of urban, fun areas to live in. They're just all different. And because when I'm working with buyers, I'm not trying to fit everybody into one specific location. That would be putting everybody into the same box, and that doesn't happen here in Kansas City. Lee Summit, Missouri does not feel exactly like Overland Park, Kansas. They're very comparable in some areas, and in fact, I've done a video about comparing those two cities, but they're completely different. And then you've got Parkville, which is another whole vibe in and of itself. Overland Park doesn't feel like Liberty, Missouri. Liberty doesn't feel like Brookside. Brookside doesn't feel like Olathe. Olathe doesn't feel like Blue Springs. All of them are so different, and that is such a good thing, and that is one thing I love. But the fact that everybody is kind of spread out leads me to something that I don't necessarily love, and that is sometimes Kansas City has this funny way of saying, oh, it's not too far. And a lot of people will say that, and then you find that it's a 45-minute drive. You will see on my videos that I will say that Kansas City isn't super, super big. It only takes about 45 minutes to get from one end of the city to the other end of the city. But the reality of it is most places that you're gonna drive to, you're gonna spend 20, sometimes 30 minutes in your car. Kansas City is one of those things where all of the fun things are not just in like one pocket. It's not just right down the road. You have to get in your car and you have to drive to that location. And we're kind of a spread out metropolitan area. If you want to go Northland and you want to go visit a park down in the Northland area and you live in Overland Park, you're going to be driving a bit. And so if your friends live in one part of the town or live in the other, you might not always get to see them because they're going to be somewhat spread out. So the reality of it is, you might want to pack some snacks. Now, I'm only partly kidding in that sense. You really do want to pay attention to where all of the things are, where you're going to be working, where your kids are going to be going to school, where your family lives, the lifestyle that you want to live, what kind of activities you guys are going to be doing as a family. And a house can be perfect and still be in the wrong area, if that makes sense. Now, once you get to where you're going, there is a lot to enjoy, but I just want to make sure that there are people here in town that honestly, they don't want to make the drive to go to a museum on the Missouri side because it just seems a little too far. Or there's somebody on the Missouri side that doesn't want to go to Oak Park Mall because it just seems too far. I don't always understand that mindset because I'm driving all the time, but you want to make sure that you understand that and understand your drive and are okay with that. Let's move on to the next subject. My love number 2 is there's always something to do in Kansas City. Always. People who don't live in Kansas City really underestimate our city. There is a lot going on. I mean, obviously we have professional sports. The Chiefs are something to definitely understand because we have a huge fan base here and there's a lot of hype around the Chiefs season. You also have the Royals, you also have Sporting KC, and beyond sports, we've got all kinds of theaters and we've got some really fun theaters too. There's this one theater in Lee Summit where you can actually order food. We've got lots and lots of concerts. Some of them are outside, some of them are inside. There's museums all over. Even the Deaf Museum in Olathe is something where I would encourage you to go to. You've got the Negro Baseball Museum, you've got the Jazz Museum, you've got the Truman Library and Museum, you've got festivals, you've got farmers markets, local restaurants, coffee shops galore, and then there's all kinds of hidden gems. In fact, one of my latest videos was about 15 hidden gems here in Kansas City that you want to make sure that you watch. I love finding places like this, and I love when people find their own thing and then they can tell me about it and I can go and review it. These are places and things to do that tourists come in to town and they don't always know about. There's like these tucked away restaurants and little speakeasies that I've mentioned before, and beautiful parks. There's suburbs that people have lived in all their lives, and there's gems in that suburb that people have no idea is there. That's one reason why I love doing these videos, because there's always something else to spotlight or a restaurant to showcase or some kind of information about our city, because it's just so vast, and that is another thing I love. But let me give you something that if you weren't aware about, you will understand when you get here. And it's not really necessarily a hate, but our weather has a lot of personality issues, if you know what I mean. Kansas City weather just makes up its own mind, and you just honestly don't always know what to expect or what to think. We have sunshine. Like earlier this week and even last week, we were in the 90s, and some of the heat index was saying it was over 100 and there was a heat warning out. But today it's like in the 80s and overcast and super, almost a little chilly. And then there's rain and wind and snow and 70-degree weather and 30-degree weather. And sometimes it feels like all of it happens in the same exact week. When we're transitioning seasons, there are days where you will see a 20-25 degree difference in one day. So you've got to make sure that you have your jacket in your back seat and your umbrella somewhere. I have like 5 umbrellas around. You want to make sure that you have sunglasses, gloves. Who knows? We also have really hot summers here, and we have cold winters here. And then we have the storm season, which is our tornado season in the spring. And yes, tornado warnings do go off in our city. So I've lived here long enough to know that track of what the weather is going to be like every single day, or most days, or at least have a general idea. I've learned to just be prepared for some fluctuations, but you also learn not to panic. I mean, still, if you want 72 degrees all year long, every single day, Kansas City is probably going to disappoint you. But the changing seasons actually lead me to something that I really love. Love number 3. We actually have 4 seasons. Even though I complain a little bit about the seasons changing and the weather, I really do love it. In fact, my favorite season is the fall. I love fall. It is so gorgeous here. The trees are absolutely beautiful. They change and you can watch them every single day. It looks like the trees changed a little bit more. And then fall comes and the football season starts and people get excited about that. And it's like this underlining unity around the whole season. I just love fall. Everyone starts to go to fall festivals and pumpkin patches, and then at Thanksgiving, the Country Club Plaza lights up and it just gives another vibe about our city that's also very fun. And then Christmas time comes and then there's lights and events all over our city. There's all kinds of tours for neighborhoods. There's donations around the city. If you come and look at a neighborhood lighting, they just ask you to give a donation. And it's just a really neat environment. And then springtime comes and it starts all over again and everything starts to turn green and vibrant. And that's one of the things that when people come into our city, they absolutely love. They cannot believe how green our city is. I get it all the time. People come into town and they are just amazed at how beautiful and green and vibrant our summer is. And so we truly do have all 4 seasons. There's just something about having all 4 seasons that gives Kansas City just a little bit of a different vibe. And I think that's part of the charm that our city brings. Now, let me talk about something that I'm sure is going to upset a few people, the road construction. It is my hate number 3. I am literally convinced that Kansas City has its own construction season that never stops. It's construction season all year long. And you will find that perfect route to work. You're smooth sailing and nothing is inhibiting you. And then approximately 3 days later, somebody will put up an orange cone in the middle of your perfect route. And there your GPS goes, I've got to reroute you. And at that point, you start to question like all of your life choices, like literally. Between road projects, growing suburbs, highway construction, there's going to be some delays somewhere in our city pretty much all year long. That's just part of life here. It's just something that we have to get used to. In fact, over the last month, my specific neighborhood has actually gotten their streets repaved. And so we've been having to drive around 15 to 20 construction vehicles, and one of our entrances to our subdivision got closed one day and I didn't know it. And so then, you have to drive around the whole entire, it's just, anyway, it's not that bad. The streets are going to be beautiful, but I'm just telling you, there's road construction everywhere and it doesn't always feel inspiring. However, the growth of all of this leads to something that I love. Love number 4 is that Kansas City still feels approachable. Kansas City is a pretty large metropolitan area, but in my opinion, it doesn't feel overwhelming. That is one of the reasons why I appreciate this city so much. It just doesn't feel massive. You can go to a big event downtown and then drive back to a quiet neighborhood. You can enjoy a professional sports team or sports event, and then you can go to a nationally known restaurant and then hop in your car and go to a local coffee shop with your friends, where the owner knows your name, by the way. There's just this friendliness about Kansas City that I think surprises people. And Kansas City just has this different Midwest personality charm. People talk to you, they're nice, people wave, people help each other. I mean, is everybody friendly? No, but let's be realistic. But overall, I think Kansas City is very approachable and very likable compared to a lot of the other major metropolitan areas. Okay, now after speaking about living here, let's talk about some homes. My love number 5 is the fact that there is a huge variety of homes here. So from a real estate perspective, the thing that I love about Kansas City is the diverse home options that are here. You can find homes that are in the $200,000 range. You can find homes in the $500,000 range. You can find luxury homes that are 1.5 and above. You can have a century-old home. You can live in maintenance-provided communities. You can live in 55-plus communities. You can have a ranch, you can have a condo, a townhome, a 2-story property. You can have split entry homes. You can have some of these Tudor homes that are really old and have so much character about it. You can live on acreage. You can live on a lake community. You can live in anything like that and everything in between. That's why when somebody says, hey, I want to move to Kansas City, one of the very first questions that I ask them is, 1, what is your price range? And then 2, where in the area have you been looking at, and where are you going to work? Why are you moving here? And how do you want to live? What is your lifestyle? Do you like the beach area? Are you a boating person? Do you like older homes? I've got this young couple who loves older homes. They love all the paneling on the walls. They love the old hardwoods. And then you've got someone else who wants something brand new. But here's the thing, you might have an idea of what you want, and you know what your budget is, and you might have an idea of where you want to live. However, we are not going to know for sure until you actually start going out and looking with me. Now, this is hate number 4, I guess. You cannot assume that one side of Kansas City is like the other side of Kansas City. So people hear all the time about Kansas City and they think it's just this one big market. And it is really not. Kansas City, Missouri is different than all of the Kansas suburbs. And even the individual suburbs, like I mentioned before, can be so totally different than the suburb that's right next to them. Property taxes are different, school districts are different, communities are different, local shops are different, housing styles are different. Like you can get a little Tudor home that's in one area and drive just 10 minutes down the street and get a completely different style home. The prices are different. Even the feel of all of the neighborhoods can be so different. This is why online search will only get you so far. This is why I do home tours on my channel. This is why I do video tours for my clients. This is why it's so important to actually come here and see the area and understand what you are looking for, because it could be totally different than what you think. Zillow can show you so much, but it doesn't know whether or not you're going to love your commute to work. It doesn't know if you're going to be a downtown Kansas City person or an acreage person or a subdivision person with houses right next to you and community feel. And it definitely doesn't know that you want to secretly be 5 minutes away from a Target. This is why understanding the area matters, because we are so diverse. So now let's get to something that Kansas City takes very seriously, and that is our food. And this is love number 6. I cannot ever talk about Kansas City without talking about the food. Everybody thinks of Kansas City and thinks about barbecue. And yes, Kansas City is well known. We are world renowned when it comes to our barbecue. And there are so many amazing local barbecue restaurants that you've got to try. If you come to Kansas City, even for a few days, you have to try at least one of our barbecue places. Q39 is really good, by the way. But the reality of it is Kansas City is so much more than barbecue. We've got a great list of local breakfast spots. One of them is called Homegrown. Amazing restaurant. There's amazing bakeries as well. There's coffee shops. There's all kinds of places that serve gluten-free stuff too. You all know already that I am allergic to gluten, and so I have to find restaurants that will give me at least a really good selection, and they're coming more and more and more available. There's one called The Mix in Overland Park, but we also have international food, and we have food trucks that go around, and you can sit sometimes in a little area and get a food truck order. People always say, don't judge a book by its cover, and this goes for restaurants as well in Kansas City. There are some places that do not look fancy at all, but they have the best food. I love supporting local restaurants and local places here in Kansas City. There's just something fun about finding a restaurant and supporting the business that's there and supporting it because you know how hard it is to be a small business and to have a local restaurant in your name and to hope that people love your food. Unfortunately, loving the food causes one problem. That's my hate number 5, is that there's just too many good places to eat here. Yes, it's technically a complaint. very hard to make good nutritional choices when you eat out a lot. I'm always out with people and you'll hear this common question: have you tried this new restaurant? And a lot of times I say, no, I apparently haven't, but I have to. So then what I do is I go try it. Kansas City doesn't help with really good diet. However, we are getting a lot healthier. There's one place that is called Billie's Grocery. I just recently did a video on that and I absolutely love it. But on the flip side, they have this whole stream of rows and rows of desserts. All of the desserts are gluten-free, but they're not healthy. So, why I still choose Kansas City. Here's what I think about Kansas City. I know the negatives. I know the things that people don't like and what people do like. I deal with the weather. I drive through the construction. Yes, I hit the potholes. I've driven from one side of the metro to the other more times than I can count through my years. And the conclusion is, I still love living here. Because when I put everything together, the community, the people, the housing options, the things to do, the food, the sports, the people, I mentioned that already, right? The suburbs, the neighborhoods, the community, of course, it's the people, the ability to have city amenities without necessarily driving an hour and a half away. Kansas City works really well for a lot of people. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. And honestly, would you trust a real estate agent that would tell you that our city is perfect and not tell you some of the negative things about it? My job isn't to convince you that Kansas City is perfect. My job is to help you decide where in Kansas City would be the best fit for you and your family. And that includes lifestyle. That includes all the things that you want to do and what you are hoping to experience in our amazing city. So now I want to hear from you. If you already live in Kansas City, what is one thing that you love and what is one thing that you absolutely cannot stand? Put it in the comments below. I want to hear your comments because I can guarantee you that we're going to have some opinions. And if you're thinking about moving to Kansas City, reach out to me. Tell me where you're coming from, what your price range is, what your everyday life looks like to you, or what you're hoping that it looks like to you. I work throughout the Kansas City metropolitan area and I help people both on the Missouri side and the Kansas side purchase homes and build a lifestyle. And so we can talk through some of the communities. You can look at some of my details and my videos on here, and be sure and subscribe and like this video and click that bell somewhere up here because you'll get neighborhood tours, you'll get real estate advice, you'll get Kansas City hidden gems, you'll get restaurants, you'll get housing comparisons, and the honest stuff that people really want to know about here in town. Because I don't want you to just find a home. I want you to love living here just like I do. Until next time, God bless. To buy or sell, call Anita Cordell, #AnitaHome, and be sure and click that link below. It's a calendar link. It goes right to my calendar. We can set up an appointment and get you started on moving here.